Welcome. It's about to be on for these next 55 minutes, folks. I'm getting you ready. Welcome to the Houston Roundball Review takeover of the lunch break, powered by JM&E and also the BS3 Network. I am, of course, KG Chris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. We're going to talk about some stuff that was breaking news that I have been touching on, discussed last couple shows on the lunch break. Private equity, private capital, whatever you want to call it, coming to college athletics. Inevitability, I think. Well, Dennis Dodd from CBS Sports said it's getting closer than you think. But you are watching this show, the Houston Roundball Review takeover of the lunch break on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Fire TV, and Roku, courtesy of BS3 TV. If you have a Roku streaming device, just download BS3 TV. If you don't, you can go to bs3network.com or bs3tvlive.com. If you are new to the Houston Roundball Review, welcome. Put this up there. I got to do more marketing because that's what we're going to talk about a little bit. But the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel has over 5 million views on the channel. If you want to advertise, email me at advertise@thehrr.com. One more time, advertise. You can advertise on this show. It's part of that promotion. Help me, help you. But yes, over 5 million views on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel. Going to get right into it. We're going to talk about the Cougs versus Alabama in Vegas as part of the inaugural Players Era Festival. The press release was finally sent Wednesday, June 12th. Houston Cougars media sent it out earlier today, Thursday, June 13th. I'm not sure who's doing media promotion for the Players Era Festival, but they did not do a great job of communicating with the member schools, participants, until like yesterday. So go figure that. But I touched on it. Dennis Dodd, CBS Sports, with some big news. And here we go. Big 12 is considering private equity investment of up to $1 billion for as much as 20% of the conference. Here's the article. There's a link to the article in the description on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel of this show. Big 12 members are considering a first-of-its-kind private equity investment, not private capital, investment to ensure the league's long-term financial and competitive security, multiple sources tell CBS Sports. On the table is a possible cash infusion of $800 to $1 billion from Luxembourg-based CVC Capital Partners in exchange for a 15 to 20% stake in the league, those sources said. A portion of the money would go directly to the 16 conference members, and the partnership would give the conference access to CVC's investment services and clients. So right off the bat, when you hear that, what do you think? What's your initial reaction? Let me know in the comments of the YouTube channel or post comments on Twitter. More to it. CVC is a global private equity giant that manages over $200 billion in investments worldwide, according to its website. The firm made a presentation to the league at the recent Big 12 spring meetings in Dallas. Big 12 teams are currently earning $31.7 million each with Fox and ESPN in a media rights deal that ends in 2031. Add in the cash infusion from private equity, and the two revenue streams would combine to move the Big 12, quote, much closer, end quote, to the Big 10 media rights deal, according to a person with intimate knowledge of the proposal. The Big 10 leads all conferences, with its schools set to earn approximately $75 million per year after it signed a new media rights agreement with Fox, CBS, and NBC. Oregon and Washington are not receiving full shares initially as they enter the league July 1st. Should the Big 12 and CVC come to an agreement, it is not clear how soon a deal could be completed or when that money would start rolling into the conference. The CVC investment would likely require the Big 12 to stay together long term. Okay, about that one. That might require some sort of assurance for CVC that a grant of rights would be signed in 2031. The investment would certainly be a significant motivating factor to stay together. But with realignment, anything can always change quickly. The discussion is to the point that three sources told CBS a small working group of three Big 12 presidents have started digging down on the proposal. Sources said Commissioner Brett Yormark had a prior relationship with CVC. Yormark would not comment when reached by CBS Sports. And Rex, this is a good question. I'm pretty sure it's the conference. When they say 20% of the conference, do they mean 20% of the school's sport? 20% of the schools? The devil is in the details. We're all going to find out. One of the motivating factors for CVC, and this stuff kind of surprised me, but check it out. Read along with me or just listen to me. One of the motivating factors for CVC is the considerable upside, really, in the Big 12's value and media rights, according to sources who saw the presentation. The Big 12's current rights deal is worth $2.3 billion. The league is currently fourth in average annual value for schools among the Power Four, behind the Big Ten, SEC, and ACC. A doubling, I don't know where Dennis got that from, a doubling of the Big 12 media rights would put the total value of the league at approximately $5 billion in its next negotiation. So that is a big question. Where is that doubling coming from? A 100% increase in value was deemed as reasonable, really, by a media industry source contacted by CBS Sports. Media rights revenues for all FBS conferences have increased steadily in each of their recent negotiations. Typically, private equity firms such as CVC invest for the long term in companies with a growth profile. They make their money when their investment grows and they sell their stake. The industry term is called, quote, exiting the investment, end quote. Quote, if we do well, they do well, end quote, said a person within the Big 12 who is familiar with the talks. CVC was founded in 1981. Rob Lucas is the company's CEO and managing partner who has been with the company since 1996. Private equity is being considered an inevitability for college sports as schools seek additional revenue streams. Redbird Capital founder Jerry Cardinale raised eyebrows in December when he said college football was vastly undervalued. Redbird has a stake in soccer giant AC Milan, as well as the Pittsburgh Penguins and Boston Red Sox. So there you go. What do you think? And let me say a couple of things. I hopped off. Coach Kelvin Sampson had a Zoom call with media at about an hour ago. Started about 11:05, 11:10. You have to watch it when it's posted on Houston Cougars Athletics. I hopped off of that to prepare for this show. But you have to watch all of it. I asked him, my question to him was about the Players Era Festival, Cougs competing in that. But also I asked him if he thought in the future other multi-team events, tournaments, will go the NIL route for the participating schools? He said yes. Later on, he talked about the importance of NIL, the inevitability of NIL, and the need for the Big 12 member schools, especially Houston, to get additional revenue because it's not going to come from donors. They're almost tapped out. So where is the additional millions of dollars going to come to in order to compete in Division I college athletics? I've touched on it here a few times, and this is a legit point. This is true. Private equity brought about the downfall of Toys R Us and Red Lobster. That's two. That's two we know of. But how many other instances have been success stories? Private equity is the boogeyman. It has a negative connotation in sports. Before this show, me and a couple of my buddies, a couple of other UH alums, had a real quick group text conversation. They didn't like this idea for one reason that Rex touched on, but they did not like this potential possibilities long term for UH. That's our alma mater, but for the conference as well. The concerns are legitimate. I acknowledge that, no doubt. But once again, where in order to pay for the schools to pay the $17 to $22 million in revenue sharing to the student assets, the athletes, in order to compete with the schools in the Big Ten and the SEC, if that is your true objective, where is this additional revenue going to come from? You can't just tighten your belt and cut back on cost. You have to increase your revenue. It's got to come from somewhere. The revenue has to increase. So you're going to see the logos, the patches, the business patches, the sponsor patches on jerseys. You're going to see advertising or company logos on the football fields. Schools got to get this money from somewhere. Is that a good thing? The concern of it's getting closer and closer to pro sports, pro football. It already is. Too many folks in college athletics have been clinging to that belief of we're in it in Division I, Division I athletics. We are in it for the education. It's academics first. That's so naive. Bless your heart for thinking that and holding on to that, helping to make your argument regarding the student assets, or as you cling to still calling them student athletes. Those days are over. Those days are long gone. So without additional revenue for any of the schools, other programs, sports on campus will probably have to be cut. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe college athletics needs something to wake it up or cause it to return to its core belief, its core foundation of students first, academics first. That might happen in 10 years. It may just be a super 40. It might just only be 20, 30, 40 institutions that can handle it, be self-funded, and handle all these expenses. But until that day comes, Big 12's got to do something if they want to compete in the near term, short term, because long term, who knows what's going to happen beyond 2031, 2032. But Big Ten schools getting $75 million per school. Big 12 schools getting $31 million per school. It's going to grow some. But the end of the Big Ten's media rights deal I think the member schools will be making close to $100 million per school per year. How are Big 12 schools going to compete with that without revenue from somewhere? And I'm not saying private equity is the best thing, but where is the revenue going to come from? If they want to be competitive, maintain and be competitive with the teams in the Big Ten and the teams in the SEC. Because that's what Brett Yormark wants to do. Maybe that's pie in the sky. Maybe he shouldn't think that way, but he's thinking outside the box. And that's one thing Coach Sampson mentioned, that the commissioner is an outside the box thinker. And this idea, it's a bold idea, but there are a lot of questions that need to be answered. So we'll see how soon it moves forward or if it dies on the vine, what have you. Good afternoon, BA3 Network. Thank you, as always, for giving me this platform to share my thoughts and opinions with the audience on Roku and YouTube and Facebook and Fire TV and Twitter and Twitch. Yormark is really relying on Big 12 basketball, but your second point is dead on. Big 12 football has to get better. Big 12 football has to become relevant on the national stage. The Longhorns and Sooners are gone. So which team is going to be the Big 12 flag to compete year in, year out, or will it be a couple of teams every year to qualify for the for the CFP, the college football playoff? Or will it just be one Big 12 school each year? That's not going to get it done. The Big 12 is going to need at least two teams annually making the college football playoff. That's where the money is going to come from. So they got to get better. NIL, they got to pay these athletes to compete. That's reality. Whether you think it's good and whether you think, oh, this is not what college is all about. It's about academics and education. You are entitled to that opinion. That's where, for the Ivy League schools, and schools like Rice and Tulane and Vanderbilt and Northwestern, but even Northwestern and Vanderbilt, they still get a huge slice of the pie in media rights deals until Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama say, why are they getting the same amount of money as we are when they're not making the same investment in football and in big time athletics like we are? So this is Commissioner swinging for the fences, looking into, and go back to it, looking into it, as the headline says right here. Big 12 is considering private equity investment of up to $1 billion for as much as 20% of the conference. And that quote right there, if we do well, they do well. But what is the opposite of that? What happens if we don't do well? Then what? And the reported evaluation for the Big 12 of, what was it, $5 billion, doubling its value? Wow. Based on what? And that can't all be basketball success. As great as Big 12 men's basketball is from top down, UConn men's basketball is the two-time reigning champs, and they're from the Big East. And boy, I tell you, I wonder how often Commissioner Yormark has said to members of the Big 12 on the discussion panels, see, I told y'all we should have got UConn to join the Big 12. I told y'all we should have got UConn to join last year. I told y'all. Oh, Mo, I cut it off because it's hot. I cut it off. And it's been a long time since I had no hair on my face. And I want to see what I look like as I in my 52nd year on this earth. Well, welcome, Mo Beasy. Glad to have you in the discussions on this show. This edition of the lunch break, this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E. And I think my man AJ is in Vegas on business, I believe. It's his business. I don't know. But you know who else will be in Vegas in a few weeks? Ben, Mo Beasy, Rex 32. The crew, the Let's Rage Cougs crew, will be in Vegas for Big 12 Football Media Days, July 9th and 10th. Dayon Dunlap, Andy Yanez, and me will be in Vegas attending and covering the Big 12 Football Media Days. So keep it up there. It's up there right in that upper right corner. Advertise on this show. Advertise on Let's Rage Cougs. You want to do so if you are interested. Email me at advertise@thehrr.com. Again, advertise at some folks say the hrr.com. Waiting for an email from the American Athletic Conference to fill out my credential application to attend and cover its Football Media Day, July 22nd and 23rd in Fort Worth. So, Obeezy, unfortunately, no. Summer League starts on July 12th. We'll be gone on July 10th. So we looked into it. Andy had planned on it, was hoping for it. Nope. Now, unless somebody gives us some money, we can stay a few extra days. Who knows? But right now, our minuscule budget, we're going to be there for a handful of days. And Rex 32 is leading me to my next topic for today's show. Asking me, will I also go to Vegas for the Players Era Tournament, Players Era Festival? That's the plan. That's the hope. I made a reservation for a hotel last night. Now, whether I cancel it or use it depends on my budget and my finances and advertising and all those great things as well. But yes, I hope to be there. It's the last week in November, Thanksgiving week. And let's talk about that. As I said earlier, the organizers, I don't know if it's Ever Wonder or if it's PR people, whoever, with the Players Era Festival, according to my folks over at UH was not contacted. UH Media was not kept in the loop until June 12th about the event, about a press release, about anything. So a press release was finally sent yesterday. Phone calls and discussions were finally made between the media department at UH and the organizers of the Players Era Festival. Here's some more details. UH sent out the press release this morning. Here's some info about it. That headline right there. Cougs versus Alabama in Vegas as part of the Players Era Festival. That's two top 5 teams right there projected. Alabama in some polls is picked number 1 in the way too early rankings. Cougs are 3rd, 4th, 5th, whatever. Whatever. It's June. But Alabama, Creighton, Houston, Notre Dame, Oregon, Rutgers, San Diego State, and Texas A&M have all committed to play in the event, with 7 of those 8 schools signed on for the next 3 seasons. Sources told my colleague Matt Norlander of CBS Sports. And go back, reminder, if you missed it, Matt joined me for one of my video chats a few weeks ago to discuss the Players Era Festival. So you can just go to the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel and just look on the playlist and watch our conversation. He was great and timely to join me. It was a busy day for him, so he squeezed me into a schedule for us to talk about this event. The Players Era Festival will be played as two 14 formats during the week of Thanksgiving. And the dates really are, it's not confirmed yet, but most likely, and this is on the playersera.com website, the dates are November 26th, 27th, and 29th. So Tuesday, the 26th, Wednesday, the 27th, off for Thanksgiving, and Friday, the 29th. All teams will be guaranteed to play 3 games. After 2 games in 4-team bracket play, there will be standalone neutral site games, including 1 championship game between the teams that went 2-0 in their respective brackets. However, Alabama and Texas A&M are both in the SEC. They are in different pods for this event. And yes, I know Alabama and Houston play, but this is me talking and for speculation. If Bama beats Houston in their matchup on day 1, but if Alabama and A&M both finish 2-0, according to NCAA rules, teams from the same conference cannot play each other in an MTE. So if that happens, what are they going to do in the championship game? And obviously that'd be a moot point if the Cougs beat Bama on day 1 of the event. But just putting it out there, because that is something that needs to be discussed and considered. What about the possibilities? If I'm an organizer, they have to consider that. Can't wait for day 3. Oh, wow, we never thought about this happening. So, all right. The opening matchups will be Houston versus Bama, Rutgers versus Notre Dame, Creighton versus Oregon, A&M versus San Diego State. Quote from Coach Sampson: "This is an opportunity for us to play against some of the best teams in the country early in the season. The Players Era Festival has great teams, great coaches, and great players, and we appreciate the chance to compete in its first year. It will be a great way for our program to test itself," end quote. There's more info in the press release, and it's also on my website at HoustonRoundballReview.com. CA37 loves the matchup between the Cougs and Crimson Tide. Rex32 says if Bama and A&M are both 2-0, they can just share the trophy. He also says we need to get over the hump and finally beat Bama. I think Bama is 3-0 in the head-to-head meetings with the Cougs. But it's a hell of a matchup. The event will be streamed. It's not going to be on linear TV, at least this year. The inaugural event will only be streamed. So keep that in mind. And that, in more details, tip times, all of that, announcers, etc., will be announced later this summer. But I know the Cougs are one of the schools that I think is committed the full 3 years of the event, at least the first 3 years of the event. The organizers of the festival, and festival that includes music and concerts and all that kind of stuff, and naturally, it's an NIL event. So each school will receive $1 million. So players will have to do some community events, sign autographs, speaking engagements, whatever, in order to receive that NIL. but there's also an opportunity for them to have long-term NIL deals through this event. So it is potentially, it is definitely a sign of the times, but it is also what could be a potential arrangement for future entities and not just the Players Era Festival. And let me take a quick 30-second break, and then I'm going to come back and talk some Cougs track news and also some, let's see, some HCU news, some Rice Owls news, you know, H-Town hoops. It's part of what the Houston Roundball Review does. So instead of 90 seconds, as I usually do at the bottom of the hour, it's a new BS3 network promo. It lasts a little bit less than 40 seconds. So I'll be right back as you are watching the lunch break. But it's the Houston Roundball Review takeover of the lunch break, powered by JM&E, streaming live, courtesy of BS3 Network on Roku. BS3, changing the way you watch television. Be right back.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Oh, look at that, it just froze. I'm looking at it and it just froze. Why did it freeze? Why did it freeze? Ben, why did it freeze? C37? Brillo, what happened there? Why did it freeze on me? What's going on? Gonna play it again. Technology just...
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Welcome back to the lunch break, the Houston Roundball Review takeover of the lunch break, powered by JM&E and also the BS3 Network. You're watching the show on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Fire TV, and of course, Roku, courtesy of BS3 TV. If you have a Roku streaming device, just download BS3 TV. If you don't, just go to bs3network.com or bs3tvlive.com. As I teased before the break, for that quick hit, some Rice Owls women's hoops news I'm going to share. We're going to talk about the NBA Finals. It's almost over. Your thoughts on that? But first up, Rice Owls head coach Lindsay Edmonds announced the additions of Maddie Miller and Raina Perez to the women's basketball staff for the upcoming season. Miller will join as the director of player personnel, while Perez will be an assistant coach. Miller will join the Owls after previously serving as a grad assistant at SMU last season. Prior to being a Mustang, she was a 5-year athlete at Abilene Christian, where she earned 83 starts and appeared in 147 games. Raina Perez joins the Owls after serving as assistant coach at UC Riverside. She began her career at Northern Arizona, later transferring to Cal State Fullerton, before ending her career with Coach Edmonds at NC State. While with the Wolfpack, she started in 59 games, averaging just over 9 points per game in 2 seasons. She helped lead NC State to the Elite Eight in 2022. Now, some Houston Christian news. This is kind of interesting. I'd spoken with Coach Finney about this, But check this out. The HCU women's basketball program is excited to announce the Queens of the Court fundraising dinner to be held on Friday, September 6th at the Marriott Sugarland. The evening will feature a guest speaker, Hall of Fame coach Van Chancellor, who I've known for a long time, as well as a fashion show and live auction. The Huskies' new director of engagement, Melina Belomo, is working to enhance opportunities for the HCU women's basketball student athletes and program in the community and with our partners and supporters who will be at the event. If you would like to purchase a table or tickets for the event, please email Coach Finney, Donna Finney, at dfinney, Finnie, at hc.edu or call 281 649 3149. Once again, that number is 281 649 3149 for more information. And you know, a big reason for that fundraiser? NIL. But also to generate revenue for HCU women's basketball. Because, yes, they would like to improve their facilities and their ability to compete and recruit. This is all impacting every level of Division I sports, from high up, middle tier, lower tier. This is a big deal. NIL is a big deal. Rex says he saw the video I did with Andy about the new football ops center. Interesting that they're moving the home locker to the visitor side. Changing, some different ways. Part of the planning of the ops building, the facility, different ideas. One of the things I really like about it is the mud room, the car wash, where the football players, when they're done with practice, they take off their gear, hang up their gear, and then walk through like a car wash for people that blows off the dirt and grit and grime that they got during practice, and then they go through a cold tub, and it's some high tech stuff. And salute to Mr. Gibson. I'm sorry, that team up north, who was the first, I think, major program to have a mudroom / car wash for its football players. Another one of those amenities for athletes in order to compete with the big boys. You can say, it's not really necessary. Whatever. In order to compete at the elite level, some things like that are necessary. Rex, we'll get on this in a second. Yeah, the finals are over. I said Boston in 7 also because really only because I wasn't sure how often Boston would play like the better team and would not take games off or a quarter off and all that kind of stuff. They did have a big lead last night, game 3, and almost pissed almost all of it away until they won by 7, 106-99. They did not say last Friday how far along UH is with the funding for the Ops Center. I want to say I heard like 2/3, but I'm not sure. That's not a direct quote, but I think they're close. They're getting closer. In some track news for UH, some good news and some news I didn't know about. Oops, let's go here. Skip on through. There we go. Houston's Louis Hinchcliffe wins the 100-meter NCAA title. Sophomore sprinter Louis Hinchcliffe won Houston Track and Field's first NCAA outdoor track and field individual title since 2019. That's a long time. As he won the 100-meter dash for the Cougs at the 2024 NCAA Track and Field Outdoor Championships on June 6th. Houston's men's team finished 6th overall with 30.5 points, the highest among Big 12 conference teams. This is also the highest point total for the Cougs since posting 40 points at the 2019 NCAA Outdoor Championships. Hinchcliffe ran a lifetime best of 9.95 seconds to win the 100-meter national championship on Friday. After a great start, the sophomore pulled away from the rest of the competition to earn Houston's first 100-meter championship since 2018. And it's true. I've seen the race highlights of the race, clips of the race. He started slow, but then he powered through about the last 40 meters. Kind of like Carl Lewis used to do. Carl Lewis never had a great start. But then some way, somehow, he hit that 50-meter mark, and then boom, he exploded. But yep. And this is true, yep. Well, I read about this right now. Thurlow touched on it. Hinchcliffe from Sheffield, England, is now fourth all-time in school history in the event with this mark. He is the seventh Coug to win the 100-meter dash as he joins head coach Carl Lewis, who did it in 81. Stanley Floyd did it in 82. Joe DeLoach did it in 88. Earl Burrell in 1990. Samuel Jefferson in 94. And may he rest in peace, Cameron Burrell in 2018. Hinchcliffe opened the day with bronze in the 4x100 meter relay alongside senior Sean Masingwani, senior Irion Brown, and freshman, I like that, freshman, Caden Broadnax for first team All-America honors. The squad's time of 38.25 was a season best time and the second fastest in school history. And this is true as well. And ironically, I think that I want to say Auburn is where Leroy Burrell is now. I don't know if they won the men's side or finished top three. I know they finished in the top 2 or 3 of the outdoor championship. So Leroy's this success follows him. Masingwani earned first team All-America honors in 2 events at his final NCAA Outdoor Championships as he finished 7th in 100 meters with a time of 10.05 and placed 6th in the 200 meter at 20.25. So he did not have that day did not have great races. In the 110 meter hurdles, senior Devian Wilson posted a 5th place finish with a time of 13.36 for first team All-America honors. Wilson concluded his college career as the outdoor 110 meter hurdles and indoor 60 meter hurdles school record holder. Senior David Ajama earned second team All-America honors as he finished 11th in the triple jump with his leap of 16.6 meters. Ajama set this mark in his first jump to seal a top 12 finish. In the high jump, another freshman. Sounds like the track team has got us. The pipeline is still there. Freshman Andrea Mida from Greece, I believe, concluded his season in 17th place with a height clearance of 2.12 meters. Houston's women's team, and this stuff that I did not know about. Houston's women's team finished in 33rd place with 8 points. But those 8 points are the most points scored since the 2007 NCAA Outdoor Championships. Really? Wow. Got to get Speed City on the women's side. Grad student City Townsend and the 4x400 meter relay team earned first team All-America honors on June 7th. I think it was June 8th, really. Townsend ran to a fifth place finish in the 400 hurdles with a time of 55.01. She scored 4 points for the team and earned first team All-America honors. Townsend is the first, and check this out, the first 400-meter hurdler to post a fifth place finish since assistant coach Sandra Glover earned fifth in 1991. The graduate concludes her collegiate career with 3 All-America team honors. Townsend joined graduate Kelly Ann Beckford, senior Iman Babineau, and freshman, another freshman Michaela Mouton in the 4x400-meter relay, where they finished fifth with a season best and school record extending time of 3 minutes, 24 seconds, and 73 hundredths. This placement earned Townsend, Beckford, Babineau, and Mouton first team All America honors. And I'm proud to say, go Cougs. Go Cougs. All right. 3 games into the finals. The Dallas Mavericks have yet to score 100 points. The Mavs down 0-3 to Boston. Game 4 is Friday in Dallas. Is it over in game 4? Will it be a sweep? Rex, Thrillo, CA37. Will it be a sweep? Or will they go back to Boston for game 5 and be a gentleman's sweep? What do you think as you're watching this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Fire TV, and Roku, courtesy of BS3 TV. Will it be a sweep? And boy, I tell you, if it is a sweep, I did not see that coming. I believe Boston was a better team, yes. But heck, I didn't have it going 5. But man. But in one sense, oh, it just saddens me. It wounds me to see a team from Dallas lose a championship. It just hurts my heart. I'm so sad. I Tito, give me a tissue. Oh, I'm so sad. I'm so sad. CA says sweep. Have not talked about that. Justin, nope. Would he be a good? Sure. Jamal's a winner. No question. No doubt about it. Jamal Shed would be, he's a leader. He's a winner, and he's a point guard. Rockets have 1 point guard on the roster, and that's Fred. Mr. Holiday is not a point guard. He's a 6-foot scoring guard who sometimes passes the ball and sometimes facilitates. Thrillo says he thought the Mavs were playing better coming into the series. He never thought they were better. Boston was a better team. I thought, and I was wrong, me and Willie Gibson were wrong on this one. I did not give Joe Mazzulla, the C's head coach, enough credit. I thought Jason Kidd was a better head coach, and Jason having more NBA Finals experience would be a factor, or could be a factor. Nope. Wrong on that one. So salute to Joe Mazzulla for getting it done. And I posted some of his post-game comments on this morning on the YouTube channel. His comments from last night after game 3. Coach Mazzulla is, you can hear in his words how his mind works during a game. So he's about analytics, but like with a twist. Analytics, but also basketball sense, basketball IQ. If it makes sense, we're going to keep doing it kind of thought process. Justin says, to what you were saying about the series, I'd be happy if Boston won. If they didn't, do I think it would have been time to blow that team up? Some folks thought that. Some Rocket fans hoped that regarding Jaylen Brown. It was possible. I'm not sure if it was more than 30% that they would have blown it up, but won't be an issue now, barring some miracle by the Mavs or a spectacular collapse by Boston. No team has come back to win a 7-game series after being down 0-3. I think the Mavs, and what's been the biggest issue, and salute, and again, I'll say this, Willie Gibson and I touched on this Monday, June 10th, in episode 127 of Folks Talking Sports. Boston has done a great job of limiting the Mavs' lobs, the Mavs' lob threats. Something Minnesota just like they had no idea what the hell they were doing, how to stop it. There's no clue what to do. But, and I think, yeah, JT is going to get $315 million in his next deal, and Jaylen Brown is earning $290 million in his deal. If only I were taller and younger and had better basketball skills. If only, if only, if only. But yeah, this is true as well. And Kyrie did his best to cook Al Horford as much as he could in those high pick and rolls and those switches. And the Mavs still lost. They still lost. CA says Mavs have to play too good for too long to overcome the Celtics. Boston's just better. The defensive versatility, the flexibility, they can switch. In order to switch 1 through 5, some coaches like Coach Udoka likes to do, you have to have the personnel, the skill set, the mindset to do that. And Boston can do that. Switching defenses is great in theory if you have the players to do it. Because if you don't, you're going to get cooked. Thrillo says, Luka cries a little too much to be a champion for me. This series proves he's not ready. Great talent, though. This series proves he has defensive limitations. Folks are calling Luka Harden. Luka's problem, he's still putting up good numbers offensively. His defense, he's not a great defender. But he did a better job defensively against Minnesota because Minnesota did not go at him, did not have the personnel to go at him. Game in, game out. All they had was Mr. McDaniel standing in the corner waiting for the ball to come to him. So Luka didn't have to do anything on defense very much. Boston's like, yeah, we are not Minnesota. And we're going to show you. And they are showing you. Rex says Boston is deeper. He says Luka has been trying to draw fouls like Harden. He's closing 2.5 minutes. Go back to the big news to open the show. And I forgot to mention this. The Big 12 is considering a private equity investment of up to $1 billion for as much as 20% of the conference. But what I forgot to mention, on, Tuesday, 2 days ago, I had a sit down with a longtime friend, and we were kicking around ideas to increase revenue for UH. He's got ideas that he's he's a very detailed guy, and he likes to get my thoughts on certain things. And lo and behold, and one of the things we discussed, or that I brought up, was private capital or private equity. Fast forward to today, Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark, it was finally made public that the Big 12 is in discussions with a private equity firm for a possible cash infusion of $800 million to $1 billion from CVC Capital Partners. So how about that? So yeah, Justin, and it is inevitable. It's serious talks, as Dennis Dodd is reporting. But the last thing, private equity is being considered an inevitability for college sports as schools seek additional revenue streams. That is it. That's what it comes down to. And this is one of the questions about what it means. Because yes, they're making an the CVC is doing this as an investment. The quote is, if we do well, they do well. Okay, so what happens if the Big 12 doesn't do well? What does that 15 and 20% stake give CVC? What does all that mean? We're going to find out. We're going to find out if the Big 12 presidents agree with this, sign off on it. Time will tell. That'll do it for this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break, powered by JM&E, streaming live on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, etc., courtesy of BS3 TV. Thank you to Justin, Rex32, Big Thrillo, CA37, everybody watching all the platforms. I am, of course, KG Chris Gardner, owner of the Houston Roundball Review. Subscribe to this channel. Spread the word about the Houston Roundball Review. Speaking of revenue, merch, buy you a mug. Click on that shop button. Y'all know how it is. Spread the word. And always, always, always keep this in mind. Since 1994, the Houston Roundball Review. Local name, global perspective. Everyone, take care. Peace.
It's Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today, it's Thursday, June 13th, 2024. Number 1, positive economic signs have emerged despite high inflation. Prices remain unchanged from April to May, offering some hope. The U.S. retains its status as the world's strongest economy, with gas prices declining slightly over the year, averaging $3.58 a gallon in late May and $3.43 per gallon on June 10th. Stores like Target and Walmart are lowering their food and home goods prices, and certain restaurants are providing value meals. However, travel-related expenses continue to be costly. Number 2, 9 years after the announcement, President Barack Obama's Presidential Center in Chicago reached its full height. The center, located on Chicago's South Side, Jackson Park, faced local concerns about gentrification and displacement of low-income residents that have arisen, and advocates are pushing for protective measures. The center aims to serve as a museum, community hub, leadership training ground, and is set to open in 2026. Number 3, many black men don't think being obese is a big deal. For them, it's not a fatal health condition like cancer or heart disease. Dr. Chika Anekwe, an obesity medicine physician at Massachusetts General Hospital, says research has found 195 diseases influenced by excess weight. While black women have a higher obesity rate at nearly 55%, more than 1/3 of black men, 36.9%, are also challenged by obesity. Number 4, the Georgia Senate passed a controversial school sports bill banning transgender girls from competing on public school sports teams that match their gender identity. Democratic State Representative Omari Crawford introduced House Bill 1104 to offer mental health resources to student athletes. The bill was hijacked by Republican senators during a committee that added banning sex education before 6th grade and gives parents the option of being notified whenever their child reserves school material at the school school library. Number 5, a study found that simply gazing at natural elements, even in urban environments, can improve mental health. Participants who focused on natural elements experienced significant mood improvements and anxiety reductions compared to those focusing on man-made elements. The study suggests that incorporating more green spaces and natural features into urban environments could have a positive effect on public well-being. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Living in the present moment rather than dwelling on the past or worrying about the future is crucial for fully enjoying life. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. It's Mental Health and Wellness Day with Miss Aprilette Russell and Yolanda Starks-White as we discuss the day's top headlines and more. I'm Sybil Wilkes. Be informed, be empowered.